Ladies, let me tell you something. There's a whole lot of confusion in this world about what a man really feels. You ever been in a situation where a man pulls back? Does he call as much as you want? Maybe does he text like you think he should? And you're sitting there thinking, he is avoiding me. Does he care about me? I must be doing something wrong. I am here to tell you, 9 times out of 10, that is not what is going on. That man is avoiding you. He's in love. And I know it sounds crazy because love is supposed to be obvious, right? But real love, the kind that lasts, doesn't always wear a billboard. It doesn't always scream. It doesn't always text you 100 times a day. Sometimes love is quiet. Sometimes love is thoughtful. Sometimes love is a man trying to figure out how not to mess it up. Now, I want you to really listen. A man who, in love, isn't trying to play games. He's not out here trying to hurt you. He's just figuring out how to be what you need without scaring you away. And let's be honest, ladies, men don't always know how to do this. A man does to always have the words to express what is in his heart. He does always know how to articulate the depth of his feelings without sounding like he is overstepping, or sometimes even sounding foolish. So what does he do? He pulls back a little. He takes a step. He calculates. He thinks. And we as women interpret that as avoidance, but it's not. It's love. You see, there are little things he does that give him away if you pay attention. He may not call you 3 times a day, but when he does call, every word counts. He is listening to you, really listening. He remembers the little things you said months ago that you did, to even think mattered. He notices the small changes in your mood. He observes you more than he talks. And that observation comes from care. That is love in action. A man who avoiding you does to pay attention. A man in love does. And this is where the mistake happens. We want it to be loud, dramatic, full of text messages, Instagram posts, and declarations. But love doesn't always come that way. Think about it. If a man is truly in love, he's thinking about your happiness even when he's not around you. He strategizing about how to make you feel secure, how to make you feel valued, how to show up in ways that matter. And sometimes that means he steps back a little because he doesn't want to overstep. He doesn't want to come off desperate. He doesn't want to overwhelm you with his feelings before the timing is right. He's trying to protect the relationship by protecting himself too. That is why he may seem distant at times. That is why he may not be all over your phone like you think he should. Ladies, if you want to really know if a man is in love, look at consistency, not intensity. Look at the patterns, not the panic. A man who's avoiding you will disappear completely. You won't hear from him. He won't check in. He won't even know the little things about you because he's not invested. But a man who in love will show up. He may not show up exactly how you want him to, but he will show up. Maybe he'll text you a little later than you like. Maybe he'll seem preoccupied sometimes. But when you need him, he's there. When it matters, he's present. When you watch closely, you will see it in his actions, not just his words. And let's talk about energy. A man in love gives off an energy that is hard to ignore. You may feel it even if he's not saying anything. You feel it in the way he looks at you. You feel it in the way he tries to be near you. You feel it in the way he reacts when you're happy or upset. Women, we are blessed with intuition for a reason. That energy does lie. A man who's avoiding you have that energy. He wants to care. He wants to notice. He wants to respond to your highs and lows. A man in love can't help it. His heart is invested. And his presence shows it whether he texting you or not. Another thing to understand is that men get scared too. Love is a lot of pressure. Men don't want to mess it up. They've been hurt before or they've hurt someone before. And they don't want to repeat mistakes. So when he's stepping back down, assume it as avoidance. Assume he's being thoughtful. Assume he's considering the consequences. Assume he's thinking about how to love you in a way that lasts. That is not avoidance. That is maturity. That is care. That is love. And here is the kicker. A man who's in love will do little things that reveal his feelings without saying a word. He'll check in on you even when he is busy. He'll remember the little details about your life. He'll make sacrifices you may not even notice at first. He'll show interest in your dreams and ambition. He'll support you even quietly. He may not be loud about it, but these actions speak volumes. That is why you have to be careful not to misread quiet love as absence. Ladies, love is not always obvious, but it's always present when it's real. And a man in love will find a way to show it, even if it's not in the way you expect. So next time you think he avoiding you, pause, watch, listen, feel, notice the little things. Pay attention to consistency over drama, energy over words, presence over performance. Real love is subtle, patient, and persistent. And a man in love, he may seem like he pulling away, but in reality, he's closer to you than you realize because he's thinking about you, caring about you, and planning to show up in ways that matter. So Don, jump to conclusions, ladies. Don, assume absence equals avoidance. Learn to see the signs, the subtle gestures, the consistency, and the thoughtfulness. That is how you know a man is avoiding you. That is how you know he in love. And when you understand this, you all save yourself a lot of confusion, a lot of worry, and a lot of misinterpretation. You start to see love for what it really is. Not always loud, not always obvious, but real, patient, and steady. And let me tell you, ladies, that kind of love is worth every ounce of patience and attention you give it. Ladies, let me tell you something that most women get all twisted about. You ever been sitting there waiting for a text from a man, wondering why he hasn't called, thinking he's avoiding you? You're overanalyzing everything he does or does he do, and you're telling yourself a story that's probably not true. And that's where the confusion starts. A lot of times when a man seems distant, he's not running from you. He's not losing interest. He's in love. And that's what I want you to hear loud and clear today. Love does always show up the way you expect it to. Sometimes it is subtle, sometimes it is quiet, and sometimes it is the very thing that makes you think he is avoiding you. But in reality, he's in his feelings. He's thinking about you, planning for you, and trying not to mess this thing up. Now, ladies, I need you to understand this. Men, Don, always know how to express themselves the way women want them to. They've been told to be strong, to be silent, to not overthink emotions, to keep their feelings to themselves. And that can make love confusing for us women. When he pulls back, it's not because he's playing games or does he care. Sometimes it is because he trying to figure out how to show up right, how to make sure he doesn't scare you off, how to make sure the love he feels for you lasts. That is why he may seem distant at times. That is why he may not be texting you nonstop. That is why he may not be all over your social media with heart emojis. He is calculating, he is strategizing, and he's being careful. That is love. Ladies, careful love. Think about it this way. When a man is truly in love, he pays attention to the little things. You may not even notice, but he notices everything. The way your eyes light up when you talk about something you love. The way you bite your lip when you're nervous. The tiny details of your life that no one else remembers, he remembers. And that attention, that is love. If a man is avoiding you, he doesn't notice anything. He doesn't remember your birthday, your favorite song, or the story you told 3 weeks ago about your boss. But a man in love, he's keeping all that information tucked away because he cares, because he wants to show up in ways that matter when the time is right. Another thing you have to understand is that men are scared too. Love is a lot of pressure, and men feel that pressure just like women do. They've been hurt before, or they've hurt someone before, and they want to repeat mistakes. So sometimes stepping back is his way of being thoughtful. He's not avoiding you. He's processing. He's making sure he does mess this up. And let me tell you something else. When a man is scared, he doesn't run. He thinks. He calculates. He evaluates. He asks himself, how do I show her that I love her without messing this up? And that thinking can make him seem distant. But in reality, he's closer to you than you think. Ladies, pay attention to consistency, not just intensity. Love isn't always loud. It's not always in your face. A man who avoiding you disappears completely. You hear nothing. You see nothing there. There's no effort. A man in love, he shows up. Maybe not always the way you want. Maybe not as often as you want, but he's showing up. He's consistent. He's present when it matters. He's reliable when it counts. That is love in action. Don't get it twisted. Text messages and social media likes are nice, but they don't measure love. Actions do. Presence does. Thoughtfulness does. And let's talk about energy for a minute. You feel it. Women, we are wired to feel energy, and a man who, in love, gives off an energy that you can ignore. Even when he is quiet, even when he's not texting, even when he's not saying all the right words, you feel it in the way he moves, the way he reacts, the way he shows up when you least expect it. That energy does tell a lie. A man avoiding you. No energy, no care, no presence. But a man in love, you can feel him, whether he is speaking or not. You can feel it in the little gestures, checking in when he's busy, sending you something that reminded him of you, showing interest in your day, supporting you quietly. That is love. Now, I want you to hear this part carefully. Love is to always obvious, but it always present when it's real. A man in love may not tell you every second of the day how he feels, but he'll find ways to show it. He may not always call when you want, but when you need him, he's there. He may not say it in grand declarations, but his actions prove it. He may not like to talk about feelings the way you want him to, but his effort proves it. Women, real love is subtle, patient, and steady. And if you can see it, appreciate it, and understand it, you'll stop overanalyzing every little thing. You'll stop worrying about whether he avoiding you. You'll start recognizing the signs of true love, the kind that lasts. And here, another thing, watch how he reacts to your life. A man who's avoiding you does care about your dreams, your struggles, or your successes. But a man in love, he celebrates with you, he worries with you, he supports you. He invests in you even when it is not convenient. He wants to be a part of your life. And he's thinking about how he can be there for you without overwhelming you. That is love. That is maturity. That is a man who's serious about you. So ladies, next time you think he's avoiding you, pause. Take a step back and watch carefully. Observe the little gestures, the thoughtful actions, the quiet energy. Listen to what he is doing more than what he's saying. Notice consistency over drama. Presence over performance. If you pay attention, you'll realize that a man who seems distant isn't avoiding you at all. He in love. He's thinking about you. He's caring for you. He's planning to show up in ways that matter. And that, ladies, is the kind of love you want to recognize. Appreciate. Ladies, let me tell you something. Relationships are tricky business. And a lot of times women get all twisted up trying to figure out what a man is thinking. You ever been in that spot where a man seems a little distant? Maybe he's not calling as much as you want. Maybe he doesn't reply right. Away to your texts. And you're sitting there telling yourself, he's avoiding me, he's losing interest, maybe he doesn't care. Stop right there. 9 times out of 10, that man isn't avoiding you, he's in love. And I know that sounds backwards because love is supposed to be obvious, right? But real love doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it hides behind thoughtful gestures, quiet attention, and the little things that make you feel seen without words. Now, women, you need to understand this about men. Men don't always have the words. They weren't taught to be expressive. They weren't taught to show emotion constantly. And sometimes they're scared of saying the wrong thing. So when a man steps back, it's not because he's uninterested. It's because he's trying to figure out how to be the right man for you. He's thinking about how to love you without overwhelming you. How to protect your heart while he protects his own. That's why he may not text every hour. That's why he may not post about you on social media. That's why he may seem busy or distant. It's not avoidance, it's love and calculation, love and strategy, love and thought. Let me break it down for you. A man in love pays attention. Not in a flashy way, not in a dramatic way, but in a real, tangible way. He remembers the details you forget you ever said. The little story about your childhood, the joke you made about your mom, the way you twirl your hair when you're nervous. He remembers all of it. That's how you can tell the difference between a man who's avoiding you and a man who's in love. A man who's avoiding you doesn't know your favorite color, your favorite food, or your dreams. He doesn't know because he doesn't care. But a man in love, he notices everything because he's invested. And ladies, there's something else you have to know. Men get scared too. Love is teasy for them. They don't want to mess it up. They don't want to come across wrong. And they certainly don't want to hurt you. So sometimes stepping back is their way of being careful. They are not running. They are thinking. They are evaluating. They are trying to figure out how to give you their heart without creating drama, without making a mess, without scaring you away. And that, ladies, is not avoidance. That is love and patience. That is love and thought. That is love that wants to last. A lot of women think that love has to be loud. They think that if a man truly loves you, he's going to text you every day, call you all the time, post about you constantly, and shower you with words. But let me tell you something love is to always loud. Real love is shown in actions, not just words. It is shown in consistency, in presence, in thoughtfulness. A man who avoiding you disappears completely. You hear nothing, you see nothing, you feel nothing. But a man in love, he shows up. He may not be on your phone constantly, but he's present when it counts. He's there when you need him. He remembers your important days. He shows up quietly, but surely. That is love. That is real love. And you know what else? A man in love gives off energy. You feel it, whether he is texting or not. Women, we were wired to sense energy. You can feel when a man cares, when he's thinking about you, when he is invested. That energy does lie in the way he smiles at you, the way he listens, the way he tries to make you feel comfortable. A man avoiding you, no energy, no care, no presence. A man in love, you feel him, whether he's saying a word or not. You feel it in the small gestures checking in. When he asks, busy, noticing when something's wrong, making time for you, even when he's tired. That is love in motion. Ladies, if you want to know the truth about love, stop overanalyzing the obvious and start noticing the subtle. Pay attention to the little things. Watch for consistency over flashiness. Watch for effort over words. Watch how he reacts to your successes, your struggles, and your dreams. A man who is avoiding you is concerned with those things. A man in love, he is invested in all of it because he is invested in you. He's thinking about your happiness, your security, and your future together, even when he's not talking about it. And here, a fact, when a man is in love, he's willing to make sacrifices quietly. He may not announce them, he may not make a scene, but he's willing. He's willing to rearrange his schedule, to adjust his priorities, to put your needs alongside his own. That is not avoidance. That is love in action. And that is why you have to be careful not to mistake quietness for disinterest. Love isn't always obvious, but it always present. It is patient, it is steady, and it is thoughtful. So the next time you think a man is avoiding you, pause. Take a step back and observe. Notice the small gestures. Notice the thoughtfulness. Notice the energy. Notice the consistency. A man in love may not say everything you want him to say, but he will show you. He may not be loud, but his actions will speak volumes. He may seem distant at times, but that distance is. He absents it. It's care, thought, and planning. And if you can see it, appreciate it, and understand it, you'll stop overthinking. You'll start recognizing true love when it is in front of you. And ladies, that is a lesson worth learning. Because a man who loves you will always find a way to show it, even when it's subtle, even when it's quiet, and even when it's not the way you expected. Ladies, let's talk about something that confuses so many women.